welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We are here to talk about the off-network movies. That means the movies, the holiday films that are not on Hallmark Channel. And we have lots to talk about. I'm pretty sure I could win a world record for a number of Christmas movies watched in a short period of time.
Yes. Yes.
So it's going to be fun. And I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Bree's here.
Hi, everybody.
Yes. And so excited from way over in Singapore. We have film critic Natasha Alvar here. Natasha, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. I've been bothering you to be on it for ages.
Yeah.
And you're here.
Yeah, I've been telling everybody in our little chat group, I'm like, my friend is so excited about the podcast. So cute.
Isn't it just exciting to have friends all over the world that love Christmas movies? It's
so fun.
So cool. Since this is your first time being on this podcast, you've been on my other podcast before, but why don't you introduce yourself to us?
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Natasha. I'm from Singapore. I'm a film editor at Cultured Vouchers. I've been a film critic for about 2 years now, and I'm a self-proclaimed rom-com expert. This is self-proclaimed. I have no legitimate qualifications, but it's fine.
Okay, we've anointed ourselves the rom-com experts. So. That's great. And you are also an English teacher, correct?
Yeah, I teach English lit because writing, I can't feed myself, so I have to do this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because one of your students was commenting on Twitter saying, I can't wait to hear my teacher talk about Hallmark movies.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. He's really into the Christmas movies because he writes about country music.
Wow.
Yeah. So he just got verified on Twitter, so he's been so proud of it. Yeah. And I'm just like, wow.
None of us are verified. Yeah. Way to go.
What's a girl got to do to get the check?
So he loves he loves watching all these films because of the country music artists that are in it sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Cool. Yeah. Well, and especially we're gonna go right off the bat. We're talking about one that was pretty fun with a country music icon. Yes. We have quite a bit of variety that we're talking about today, and some I have only seen, and then the rest, one of you have seen, one of you haven't seen. There's I think one that we've all three seen.
Yeah.
So that's
obviously the best one.
That's right. So it's gonna be fun. And let us know in the comment section what you've seen. And I did not get to everything. Believe it or not, there are still, I think, 2 movies that came out over the weekend that I did not get to. And I have not seen. So
you've watched 70 at this point. I think it's okay if you've missed 2. We just got to December, Rachel.
Yeah. I literally have watched 70 Christmas movies. New Christmas movies.
New. Yeah.
Oh my God. I was struggling to even finish the 3. I was like, when am I gonna I have to watch it?
It's been and I've had to watch the awards movies too. I have just been like Mrs. Hermit Lady. It has been not well, and I do have to say I did watch. I was lucky enough to get the Lifetime movies in advance. They gave me the screeners, and so I was able to watch all of those crazy weekend
before the craziness. Okay. Yeah,
help me a little. So anyway,
not like us peasants.
I'm telling you, I think part of the thing is I enjoy watching them live so I can talk to people on Twitter.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's true.
But there's also a part of me that really likes to fast forward through the commercials. So I kind of like to just record them and watch them later. And then, before I know it, I'm like, oh, they showed 3 movies tonight.
Yeah.
Now I have 6 hours of movie watching.
Well, it's also kind of interesting because the screeners that they sent over for Lifetime, they're all sort of their rough draft. I don't know what the correct words, like the dailies or whatever. And so you'll see things like add in virtual snow here. Like, oh, okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah. Like, I hope they fix that in the final. So anyway, but yeah, it was very kind of them. I really appreciate Lifetime doing that because that helped me out a lot. And I wish Hallmark would do that. It would help me out a lot. But nevertheless.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Reba McEntire's Christmas in Tune. This was on the 26th of on Lifetime and starred Reba McEntire, John Schneider, Candace King, Justin David, and years after their personal and professional breakup, the singing duo of Georgia and Joe Winter agreed to reunite after their daughter, Belle, asked them to participate in a Christmas charity concert, only to find themselves getting back in tune on stage and off. So I think, Natasha, you watched this one, correct?
Yeah, I watched this one.
Yeah. So what did you overall think about it?
I didn't expect to like it. I had low expectations going into it. But I kind of liked it. But yeah, I like the songs. So I thought that the singing and like the vibe and all that was really nice. And I think the leads, like Reba is like quite good, I think. She's got good comedic timing. So like she made things funny and she and John Snyder had like good chemistry. So that was the things that I enjoyed about it. Yeah. But I thought it was a bit simple. Like it was quite straightforward film. It didn't really like go anywhere unexpected, you know.
It is pretty basic. That doesn't bother me as long as it's done well.
Yeah.
But I thought that I agree with you, the singing, and I think that they did have good chemistry, Reba and John Schneider. I don't know if I really buy that they're going to make the best couple because I feel like those issues are still there. That like,
it's like, always a bad sign.
Are we in tune? Are we? At the end, I'm like,
But I think I even liked more. I liked the daughter and her relationship.
Yeah.
With, I guess, Justin David with Troy. That was really cute. I enjoyed that. I thought.
I think because they are good actors. Like I think it's sometimes it's difficult with these movies because the actors are like a bit like artificial, or they are like delivering exposition, you know, like, oh yeah, we met 12 years ago. Like, you know, it's like it's not natural.
Yeah.
But I think the two of them were very like, you know, natural together. I think that's what helped the film. Like everyone kind of felt real and authentic, even though, you know, I mean, they're actors. Yeah. So a lot of times I always feel like what takes me out with these Christmas movies is that it's not well acted, or it's not, yeah, it feels like they're kind of like, you know, they end up with each other because the plot tells them to, you know. So I'm not really buying into the whole thing. Yeah. So this one I kind of I bought into most of what was going on. Yeah.
Well, it's particularly tricky when they're trying to do enemies to lovers, which is the case here. They didn't start out not liking each other, and then by the end they like each other. And I think they were also kind of stuck in the same house, you know, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Like forced to spend time together. And that kind of worked too. And yeah, I agree. I mean, you sometimes don't have the best acting in these movies, but it just depends on whether they have chemistry, whether it works. But I think that Reba is, like you said, legitimately a pretty good actress.
Yeah.
You know, I love her show so much.
Yeah.
It's so good. And she's been in like feature films too, in like Tremors and you know, other movies. And so she has enough experience. And I don't know this John Schneider that well, but I feel like he's done a lot of stuff.
I just know him as Superman's dad. I think I'm going to get like slayed on the internet for this. Like he was in Smallville, he played the dad. Like he was the dad, right?
Yes, he is. You're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I was like, oh yeah, like yeah.
Yes. And this was directed by Emily Moss Wilson, and she's done a lot of fun movies for Lifetime in particular. I'd like to have her on the show one of these days, but she did one called Christmas in Mississippi that I enjoyed. Last year, she did Dear Christmas, which was the most COVID influenced movie of any of the Lifetime movies, because they literally had this whole scene where they were going to be meeting up at this like climactic dance kind of a scene. But it's because of COVID, they had to make it so that she was late and the dance was already over, and he was like hanging around, like when they were cleaning, the janitors and stuff were there. Well, that was last year.
So, no.
Yeah, that's what they had to do, which was pretty clever, I thought.
Yeah.
She also did a Christmas wish with Hillary Burton, which was a fun one, where she makes the Christmas wish that what is it? It was like that somebody would fall in love with, men would fall in love with her or whatever, and then all the men in the town started falling in love with her. And it was cute. Okay. It was funny. Okay. So there are, like, I like
so
her.
many like Christmas films called A Christmas Wish or something. So I was just like, which one is this?
Yeah. But yeah, and I agree that the music definitely set it apart. There were quite a few music songs within the movie. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think if you like Reba, if you're a fan of hers, then you'll enjoy it. I give it 3.5 out of 5 crowns.
Yeah.
What about you?
I was gonna say 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
I'm a different system. But it's the same. Yeah.
You didn't get this one watched, right, Bree?
No, I didn't watch this one.
Okay. So then I'll do one that I only saw. I watched on the CW, they had the Waltons Homecoming, and this was my introduction to the Waltons. I have never watched an episode of the show. I've heard about it. I knew enough to know about the whole good night John Boy, good night, all the things at the end, and I just knew a little bit about the Waltons, but I never seen an episode of the show. And so I asked my friends, I said, hey, am I going to understand this? But evidently this was a remake of the original Waltons movie that started the show. And I don't know if they're actually going to start a reboot show.
Wow.
Okay. Now that they've done the movie, if they're going to do that. But this starred Logan Schreier, Bellamy Young, Richard Thomas, who was in the original show. And it's a remake of the original Waltons film. The Walton family is excited to learn that John Sr. will be coming home for Christmas during the winter of 1933. However, when a storm threatens his arrival, he's nowhere to be found. John Boy embarks on a life-changing journey to find him. And if someone were to ask me, should they continue on with this series after this movie? I have no understanding of the original show. I would say absolutely. I thought it was very charming. It was very well done. I liked it. Mm-hmm. And I thought that the production value was good, and I liked the story. They're trying to find their dad who's stuck trying to get home. And also there's this whole story of John Boy trying to become a writer and kind of getting discouraged and frustrated with his writing. And then there's also the girl who really wants a doll, and then we're all worried about their dad. And it was just really cute. And I enjoyed it. And, I think if they did do it, I think that When Calls the Heart would have a run for their money. I really do. Because,
wow.
Yeah, I do. It would have the exact same demographic and without some of the problems.
Hey, those are fighting words, Rachel.
I stand by it. So did you get to watch this, Bree?
No, I didn't even know the CW was like putting out Christmas movies. When you said that, I was like, oh my God, it's another channel that I'm not watching.
Yeah, because like when Rachel told me about this, right, then I started to prepare, right? I was like, okay, let me like watch like some of these movies. And then when she sent out the list, I was like, oh my God, I've watched none of these movies. Yes. I was like, oh, my preparations have failed. Okay. I was like, oh no.
But I guess they got rid of one of the children, which is a little bit random. I guess there was another boy, I think. They were saying, some of my Twitter friends were saying online that, they got rid of one of the kids, and they were outraged by that. So who knows?
Like what?
But
I feel like I need to
liked
Google it. I need to see what this show is.
Yeah, it's it was I liked it. It was a good show, and I think they could have a hit on their hands. I really do. But
Wow.
I'm sure that the the hardcore Waltons fans are gonna nitpick it, but
Yeah, like no, leave the classic show alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
it takes place in like a rural Virginia during the Great Depression and World
Mhm.
War II. Interesting. So it's still like historical time. They didn't like update it
No,
or
they
anything.
didn't update it. Yeah. They
Okay.
had
Interesting.
one thing at the end with Libby, I think was her name. Or Mary, I can't remember. One of the girls, the one with the doll. The one who wanted the
With the
doll.
doll.
They had her I don't know, Libby's the wife. Anyway, I don't remember their names, but the one with the doll, they have at the end, they have her at John Boy's grave and putting flowers on his grave at the end.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Like in modern time, like it's
I
like a
gotta like make a
Titanic
note to
thing.
myself. Remember to watch this.
Oh, okay.
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 Yeah. So yeah, I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would watch the series.
Do you think there might be vampires in the future in this world? Knowing the
That would make it
CW.
more entertaining, I'll tell you that. Imagine.
Interesting.
We had the Vampire Diaries and Walton's crossover event.
Yeah.
That's what the CW does, all those
Yeah.
crossover events.
Yeah.
Yeah. It will be
They
a
got like
hit.
the Flash.
I
Yeah.
feel
is
like the
coming in.
Waltons fans would be the ones that were upset. Okay.
All right. So back to Lifetime. We had Mary Little, Liddle, Christmas Baby. On the 27th, Kelly Rowland, Thomas Kudrow, Brescia Webb, Latanya Williams, Jamie M. Calica, Nathan Whitty. This holiday, the Littles have much to be merry about. Jackie and her husband Tyler are preparing for the arrival of their first baby. Meanwhile, Jacqueline's sister Trina and her husband Julian are thinking about adopting a baby themselves, and spirited fashionista sister Kira's relationship with Chris is heating up. With their family expanding in ways they could never have experienced, the Littles are headed for a crazy Christmas filled with merry mayhem and lots of love and laughter. So I think you saw this, Bree, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So what were your overall thoughts? What do you think?
I liked it. It had a lot going on, but that made it really fun, and it made it kind of a quick watch because something like everybody has something going on. I do think obviously there's more movies that I obviously need to catch up on, but
you
I
haven't seen one or two.
No, I have not seen one or
Okay.
two, but I wasn't confused. I just could tell, like, I feel like I'm missing some stuff, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I loved seeing Kelly Rowland in the movie. She's
Yeah.
gorgeous. She's pregnant in the movie. She kind of took a back seat. I don't know if she's on screen more in the other ones. We actually get a lot from Tyler and like her brothers-in-laws, or one of them proposes in the movie. Kind of a spoiler, sorry guys, but we get a lot of the men's perspective, which I thought was so fun. Like they're planning a baby shower and they're like Googling games, and they're like, well, that kind of sounds stupid. What about this? Can we have a nacho bar? Like it's very guy-ish trying to do this. But I just really I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. So I really want to go back and watch the previous two.
Yeah.
I loved all the togetherness. There's the kids. There's like a lot. I feel like in a lot of Christmas movies, there's like one kid, but in this one, we get to see like these cousins hanging out and like sending drones into the neighbors' yards and like playing video games in the forts and stuff like that. It was just really sweet. So I liked it.
Yeah, I actually haven't been won over by the first and the second film. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people really enjoyed them, but I just felt like it was too much. They were too, like, the dysfunctional family holiday movies are not my favorite. Like the Family Stone, not for me. Like it stresses me out, gives me anxiety.
Oh no, Rachel.
Is that your favorite?
No, I mean, it's not my favorite. No, I'm not gonna like no. But I think a lot of people on Twitter love it. Like it's always mentioned. Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. People being so mean to each other, it stresses me out.
Okay, so are the first two more dysfunctional?
Yes, in this, especially Sister Kira. In the second one, she basically destroys her wedding dress and is like just causing mayhem. In the first one, she blows out her power, putting up extra lights, and they're like super critical of her in the first one, which I didn't really like. Like anything that she tries to do, they're coming to her house for Christmas, and everything that she makes isn't right. Everything she does isn't right. And, I just feel like when you're going to visit somebody, even if it's in your family, like you have to kind of accept Christmas the way they're doing it. You're at their home. And I understand that might be hard to let go of traditions and things like that. But I mean, you have to let some things go. You cannot complain about every single thing that they're doing. So that's what I didn't like about the first one and the second one. But this third one was, without a doubt, in my opinion, the best of the three.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I thought they gave like something aside from just being kind of obnoxious, they gave something for Kira to do because of her pregnancy thing, and like they just made her more of like an interesting person. She's not as jealous, and I just liked her way better in this, and her relationship with with Nathan Whitty, who I love. I thought it was good. I don't know why he stayed with her because she's a lot, but it was better in this one. And the whole adoption plot line was really well done. I thought, it's so hard when people lose the baby that they're planning on adopting, and then kind of that whole plot was good. And I love, Kelly Rowland. She's great. And they still had some humor. They had some madcap, but it was not as much as in the previous two. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. I liked it.
So Bree, are you going to go back and watch the first two?
Well, I don't know now after
a lot of people love it. Like
maybe I watched the right one.
So my friend Dory, she loves those movies. So you might enjoy them. So I give this one, I'm going to give it a 3.75.
Okay.
What about you?
I think a 3.5 for me. 3.5. It's good.
Yeah. Keep making them, keep improving. Each one needs to be a little bit better. And I think that's
because you're fun. Like describing the first two, and I'm like, this one wasn't like that at all. So they like lightened up a bit.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember talking to Dory about it, and she's like, every family has one, like Kira. And I'm like, yeah, that is accurate. But you know who you are.
Yeah.
My family. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast.
Cozy up with A Very Bavarian Christmas, a delightful Christmas novel by Katie M. Reed.
Holly Noel Brigham is trapped back in her hometown personalizing ornaments at the mile-long Christmas store, and she doesn't even like Christmas.
As Holly works through fractured relationships and embarrassing misunderstandings, she stumbles upon love in the Bavarian-themed town from which she tried to distance herself.
Best-selling author Crystal Payne says this about A Very Bavarian Christmas. If you're looking for a holiday-themed read that will warm your heart, but also make you think, this is the perfect pick. The storyline and characters draw you in from the get-go, and you'll find yourself relating to their struggles and cheering for their victories.
Available in paperback, ebook, and audiobook.
Pick up A Very Bavarian Christmas for yourself and the Hallmark fans on your list at averybavarianchristmas.com.
That's averybavarianchristmas.com.
Right. Well, let's talk about Angel Falls Christmas. I saw this one. This was on Peacock. It's Chad Michael Murray and Jessica Lowndes, and this is quite a description, but here we go. Allie is a workaholic ER doctor struggling for work-life balance with boyfriend Josh. On the night Josh is set to propose, he and Allie have an argument about her working an extra shift on Christmas Eve, which leads to a breakup. Allie is miserable alone until a chance encounter with handsome barista Gabe leads her to fulfill a Christmas bucket list of fun activities she never would have done on her own. Allie's best friend and fellow ER Dr. Dawn has never seen Allie so engaged outside of work and is rooting for Gabe and Allie's relationship. Now, the saintly Maureen must redirect Gabe's heartfelt intentions if Josh and Allie have any chance of reconciliation this Christmas. So I gave this movie a lump of coal in the preview. And I stand by the lump of coal. It was not good. This was
stand by the lump of coal.
I understand what they're trying. It was basically they're trying to do kind of like the bishop's wife, the preacher's wife, that whole like plot concept, you know, with the angel coming down and helping. But like the problem is that in those instances, like first of all, they're married in both of those movies, in the remake preacher's wife and in the original bishop's wife, they're married. And so like you have more of a foundation to the relationship, and then the angel comes and kind of helps their marriage. Yeah. And you see quite a bit of them together. And so it's not quite as weird. In this case, like they've literally broken up, and now she's like hanging out and doing all these swoon-worthy activities with Chad Michael Murray and is the angel. And like he's falling in love with her, and she's kind of maybe falling in love with her. And we've literally spent maybe like 5 minutes with poor Josh. And so they have like no chemistry. We're not invested in that relationship at all. And so then when it all comes back around and Gabe ends up going back into heaven and Josh ends up proposing again, it feels totally hollow because you just spent the entire movie with her flirting and having these amazing experiences with Gabe.
Oh, and I hate that.
And so, it was bad. It was bad. And I didn't think that she really had, I mean, they have some chemistry, Jessica Landis and Chad Michael Murray, because they've been in 3 movies together, but the story just didn't really allow it to work because you're like, is she going back with Josh? Is she going like, what is happening here? Yeah. And like, also you didn't really want her to go back with Josh because Josh wasn't supportive of her choices. And, and you could say, well, maybe she needed to make different choices and be more balanced in her life, but that's her decision to make. Yeah. And they're not going to be an effective couple if they aren't on the same page with that kind of thing. And so like, she doesn't want to, she actually wants more work. She enjoys work. She loves her work. And so then for him to feel like, oh, you don't do enough for me, like is not the person she should be with.
Yeah.
So this was terrible. It was really bad. I give it 1 crown.
Yeah. We've seen quite a few films this fall, and I don't think so much in the Christmas movies yet that I can remember, but where like the girl spends like most of the movie attached somewhere else, and then like the last 15 minutes it's like you're the person, and it's like, well girl, I just spent like an hour and 45 minutes of you with this person, so I don't believe this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky dynamic to pull off. I mean, you have to believe even in Preacher's Wife that Whitney Houston is going to want to go back to, what is it, Courtney B. Vance when she could be with Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
It's always they
do.
They do. But
I just want to know where the angels were when I was having my love life crisis. Like, where were they?
My angel.
Where was the angelic intervention?
They're slacking off. They're not in Singapore, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, like, no,
it's because we're not on a Lifetime or Peacock or Hallmark movie. That's why.
Yeah.
Or the
somebody
CW,
write it in.
Yeah.
Or the CW. Up TV. Somebody write it in, please.
Yeah. All right. Well, next we're going to talk about Miracle in Motor City. This is on the 28th on Lifetime. Tia Mowry, Mark Taylor, Smokey Robinson, and it's Amber bites off more than she can chew when she takes charge of her church's annual Christmas pageant and inadvertently promises to deliver a special performance by Motown legend Smokey Robinson. When her best friends secretly enlist Amber's former flame Eddie to help, the pair reconnect in a quest to find Smokey and convince him to appear. With the clock ticking, family, friends, and superstar Smokey Robinson came together to stage the most special pageant yet. I think that was some kind of goal to how many times they could say Smokey Robinson in one summary.
I was like,
got it. Smokey Robinson's in the movie.
For that,
I think we all three. Did we all three see this one?
I saw it.
I didn't see
Did you see it? You didn't see it, Natasha?
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So this one, I can't remember if I gave it a sock in the preview, but I was a little nervous about it, but I actually ended up really enjoying it. I thought it was very sweet, and the whole thing with Tia and her adopting this little girl was so sweet. I enjoyed that. That was my favorite part of the movie. But I thought that her and Mark Taylor had really nice chemistry. They worked for me. It's like a very basic story. It's, save the church or whatever. We've seen it a million times, but it was done well and it worked for me. What did you think, Bree?
Same. It wasn't anything like, I don't know. I think I went into it like it's going to be something spectacular. They played it safe. It's a storyline we're used to seeing. I did kind of like how they expected this to somewhat be easy. Like, oh, we'll just go to all the places that he's been seen and around town or whatever. Yeah. And he's like unintentionally always a step ahead. Like, they're at the radio station. Oh, it was 7 a.m., not 7 p.m. So it's like it's been 12 hours already. I liked it. But like you said, I think the storyline about her and little Lily, the little girl, oh my gosh, I was a sobbing mess. And I really liked seeing that. So there's so much talk about family freaking content, okay, in the world of Christmas movies this year. You can't get any more family content than this. It starts and ends at the church. And it's the church is the premise of the book, essentially, or the movie, essentially. So I thought it was really sweet. It was really sweet. So,
and nice to see her adopting an older child, which you don't normally see. And also like the movie fully supporting her as a single woman adopting, which I also, like to see. And so, it was cute. It was a good movie. I give it 3.75 as well.
Same.
Okay. Then we have Welcome to the Christmas Family Reunion. This was on Lifetime. And this is Michelle Argris, Alonzo B. Slater, Isaiah Epperson. Event planner Amy helps rising singer Tiffany Christmas plan her holiday family reunion. Along the way, Amy must navigate some challenging family dynamics, especially among Tiffany's aunts, as well as her own growing feelings for Tiffany's cousin Calvin. Will she be able to pull off an amazing Christmas family reunion? And so she pulls off the amazing Christmas family reunion. But
was this a lump of coal, Rachel?
I feel so bad because I love Jake Helgren. He's the director, and I actually have an interview in the can ready with him. So I interviewed him. I love him. He's great. But I don't know, this movie, it was so boring. I was just dying. I was so tempted to put it on like 2x and get through it fast because I was like, this is so slow. I mean, I just felt like nothing happened in this movie. It was like one scene of party planning after another, and then these people being like, how could you plan that at her house? Why don't you do it at my house? And my house is better. And I just didn't care or think it was funny, or it was just nothing. This movie had no story, in my opinion. It was so bland. So it was not for me. I give it 1 crown.
Oh,
it was bad. Yeah. So you should be glad you missed that one. Okay, let's talk about 8-Bit Christmas. This is on HBO Max. This stars Winslow Fegley and Neil Patrick Harris, Steve Zahn, and it's in 1980s Chicago. A 10-year-old sets out on a quest to get the Christmas gift of his generation, the latest, greatest video game system, Nintendo NES. And Natasha, you saw this, correct?
Yeah, I saw this one.
So what do you think?
Oh my God, I have to I'm so happy that the podcast introduced me to this, because I wouldn't have watched it otherwise, right? Because I didn't even know HBO Max was releasing a Christmas film.
Yeah.
And I watched it. So I went over to my brother's and I was like, yeah, I gotta watch this, right? And he was like, I want to watch Tick Tick Boom, right? So he was just like, oh God, you want me to watch this Christmas show? And I was like, oh, please watch it with me. And then so he was like, okay, let's watch it, right? So we watched it. And like we both were like, close to tears by the end. Yeah, it's really, really touching. I didn't expect it to be, because it was really funny. And of course, like, they have all the shenanigans, right, of him trying to get a Nintendo, right? And I thought that I think Bree said, like in these Christmas movies, right, there's always like one child somewhere, right? So it's really nice to have like a really children kind of focused cast, and have all the kind of shenanigans with his friends, right, in school, in the snow, right? And how they did the the antagonist kids, like he's the richest kid on the block and he's got the Nintendo.
That was funny.
And that was really funny. Like I was laughing like out loud like numerous times in the film, and I really liked the family dynamic as well. I thought I love Steve Zahn. I think he's really funny, but also like he can do like kind of serious work. So he's been playing like fathers in so many of these like recent movies. Like I just always seen him as a father now, but yeah, like I thought that I didn't know where it was going. I thought it was just about the Nintendo. Like that was my focus, right? I was like, how did he get the Nintendo, right? Because that's like the whole, because it's a story within a story, right? So it's kind of like The Princess Bride, or like, Definitely Maybe, where like the father will, a father figure will tell a story, right? And the child is initially maybe not, kind of reluctant to hear the story, and then after that they get invested along the way. So it allowed the film to play with a lot of like clever stuff. Like it was quite meta in some instances, and just like the child, I was invested. I was like, when is he gonna get it, and it took a really like heartwarming, unexpected turn, and I didn't expect that, and it was really like sweet.
It can't be denied that this has huge A Christmas Story vibes.
Yes.
It is very similar, but just set in the 80s versus I think the 40s, I think.
Yeah, so.
And I mean, very similar. He has the dream gift. He has those like shenanigans with his friends. He has the, just very, very, very similar. But I'm fine with that. I like Christmas Story. I like this.
Yeah.
I thought it was so charming. I love Winslow Fegley. He is the cutest little child star. He's so good.
He's so good. So good.
Yeah. He was in Timmy Failure, Mistakes Were Made, which I championed that movie. I loved it. I thought it was so good. And so, yeah, I think he's a really great little child actor, and he did a great job leading this this film and leading this role. And I really liked the whole thing with his sister with the Cabbage Patch doll and that whole thing. It was so cute, and the whole treehouse was just really heartwarming, and it was just a funny, sweet, lovely new Christmas movie. I mean, I could picture this becoming a new film that people watch every year and enjoy.
That's what I felt like. I felt like, I mean, they're the classics, right? Like, like Home Alone, Santa Claus, right? Like those kind of movies that I think you kind of return to every year to kind of revisit. And I think I might rewatch this because I really, really liked it a lot. Yeah,
that's awesome.
And I remember that whole thing of like people getting a Nintendo, and it like their house was the new place. Everybody wanted to go over to your house if you had a Nintendo. I remember my brother had one. It was like Nintendo for boys, at least in my neighborhood, and American Girl dolls for girls. If you got an American Girl doll, you were like, oh, that was fancy. But this was a winner. I loved it. I gave it fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and I would give it, I don't know, in the world of Hallmarkies podcast, I would give it like 4.25. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's a 4 for me. Yeah. I mean, I actually reviewed it as well. I don't think it's out yet, but oh my God, I really appreciate you putting this on my radar. It's so good. Yeah. And my brother wasn't angry with me at the end. He was like, okay. that was good.
But I loved their whole plan on how to get the plan with the school trip and how that all worked.
The spaghetti.
Yeah, the spaghetti.
No.
But that reminded me of when I was in, I think, 4th grade, my teachers like promoted this, that we were going to do this big activity where we're going up to the Golden Spike Memorial where the trains first met here in Utah, and that this was going to be like this was going to be the best field trip in the whole world. They really pumped it up. I was so excited, and on the way there I got sick, and
you were too excited.
I was so sad. It was the biggest disappointment of my young life.
Oh
no. So it was just, you should watch it, Bree. You'd like it.
I'm gonna find it.
Really cute. Yeah. And I think your son would like it too.
Yeah.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
All right. So then we have Royally Wrapped for Christmas, and this was on Peacock and starred Jen Lilly and Brendan Fair, and this is a big, long description too. Lindsay heads up one of the most successful chapters of the Festive Heart Foundation, a philanthropic organization which celebrates a century of helping underserved children around the world. Founded by the royal family of Veronia, Lindsay is summoned to the kingdom as one of the world's 3 most successful foundation organizers to plan the Centennial Gala. Before she embarks to Veronia, Lindsay meets the charity's president, Willard, and Aiden, who Lindsay mistakenly believes is the organization's accountant. Once in Veronia, Lindsay discovers the accountant is really Prince Aiden, who is to ascend the throne. Committed to the mission to imagine the next 100 years of charity, Lindsay leans into a family tradition to give a gift and keep a gift. Verona's parliament enthusiastically accepts Lindsay's idea for the charity, vowing to change the world in the kindest way. Now Prince Aiden must decide if the commoner from New York, who has helped so many, can help him find a happy ever after. So there we go.
Peacock seems to like long summaries.
Give me a break, Peacock. What are you trying to do to me? This I had actually given a cold to in the I guess not kind for Peacock, but I gave a cold to in the preview. But I actually ended up enjoying it. It's a princess movie. What are you going to do? But I thought that they had pretty good chemistry. And that was what I was hesitant about, because I just didn't think Brendan Fair and Jen Lilly would have that good of chemistry, but then they did. And yeah, it's a princess movie.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I love Brendan Fair.
If you're in the mood for a princess movie, this is cute. It's fine.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, because the royal movies aren't typically like my favorite, but I like Jen Lilly. I mean, even though sometimes I feel like she picks roles that she doesn't need to pick. So I'm interested. I'm gonna go find it.
Yeah. I mean, it was cute, and she was cute, and they did have decent chemistry. Again, not one of my favorites or incredible, but considering I had extremely low expectations, I would give it a 3 out of 5.
Okay.
So
that's good.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about A Castle for Christmas. This was on Netflix. And this stars Brooke Shields and Carrie Elwes. And Brooke Shields stars as famous author Sophie Brown. who is trying to buy a castle in Scotland, as one does. She faces opposition from the owner, Duke Miles, who doesn't want to sell the castle to a foreigner. But underneath all their conflict, something else may be blooming between them. That's how you do a summry.
That's how you do a summary right there.
There we go.
Netflix is like, yes.
So this movie, you will never hear me say the phrase, this is a good movie. But
yes,
this movie is it's kind of trash, but it's like my trash. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like it was really corny. Even for me, this movie was super corny. The script was kind of terrible, but I just still had fun with it. It was so campy and ridiculous. And I felt like it did kind of know what it was trying to be. And I don't know, just like, especially Carrie Elwes's performance was so...
I was like,
what is
that
that accent? I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, oh god, that Scottish accent. I was like,
I don't think they had very good chemistry, but it was, I mean, if you like the Christmas Prince movies on Netflix, like very cheesy and very, like, even for, I know that might sound weird for me to criticize because I cover Hallmark movies for a living, but like, there's just something different about the kind of camp that's in this movie or in the Christmas Prince movie than you typically see on the Hallmark Channel. They usually don't kind of like, and this gets some PG-13 moments too. That obviously wouldn't have a Hallmark Channel, but it was just, it really felt like reading a romance novel. And so you actually might like it, Bree. You didn't see it, right, Bree?
I did. I watched it.
Oh, you watched it. Okay. Yeah. It felt like a romance novel and just the way it was like, you know, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But so I had fun watching it. But again, I do think it was kind of terrible.
oh my god. Yeah. It's like, I think I gave it like a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's like I know that it's trash. like I just like,
yeah, you get it.
So it's like it's not like, you know, I'm not gonna be like, wow, like like whatever, but I just really enjoyed the process of watching it. I don't know. Because I guess
haven't read my
like,
review for it yet, but I probably will go fresh on it because it knew what it was trying to be.
Yeah. I
I
think
just
that's
want
the thing
to know.
about Netflix. Like they're not trying to like be. I don't know. They're not trying to like reinvent the wheel. It's just like, yeah, let's just do this thing and make it, you know, a good watch. And it was a fun watch.
Yeah. Is it based on a Harlequin or a romance novel? Do you know?
I was thinking the whole time I was watching it, I haven't read Sophie Kinsella, but I was like, she feels like if Sophie Kinsella was to like whisk herself off to Scotland and buy a castle, this is what we would do.
Yeah. I totally felt that as well. Yeah. It felt like a romance novel, especially because I read like all those, you know, like Scottish Highlands.
Yeah, it did. It felt like Harlequin to me. And because it felt like something like, what is it? Who does the Christmas Prince? Is that Karen Shire? Is that her name?
Oh yeah, Karen Shaler.
Something like that, yeah. And I felt like it was kind of in that same ballpark. And I
will say like the part. Go ahead.
I just want to know why Carrie Elwes was shouting, why did you wear that dress? Do you remember that part? I was like, dude, like calm down. Like it was
that reminded me of Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca when like the housekeeper persuades her to wear the dress and she walks down and he's like, no, take it off.
I thought it was like haunted dress or something. I was like, what's happening? Like he's just like, why did you wear it? And then like, oh.
When I was just watching it, kept thinking of my friend Michelle Benson, who does the Heartland recaps with me, and she's from Scotland, and she's like dying watching this movie.
How would she read the accent?
Yeah, even the dress, which is actually like tartan, you know, and like I don't know, just everything was so silly, but I enjoyed it.
I mean, them riding horses to the party with her in the dress at the end. I was like, this is so romantic. But would this actually happen?
Yeah.
You have to be cold on top of that horse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was like, because my friend stuck at home, right? You know, so I was like messaging her at the same time. We were both watching it. She had already watched it like 3 times before that, and she was like, oh my god, like you gotta cheer me up, right? Like you gotta live message me while you're watching it. And we were both like fangirling over Carrie Elwes's gray hair falling charmingly over his right ear.
Yeah, this movie, it'll definitely go down as one of the most memorable. I got to give it that.
Yeah.
Of the season, it was. I
mean, the Drew Barrymore show on it,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just can't wait till we get Christmas in the Castle 2, which we know we'll get.
I think we will.
Oh yeah. I definitely.
She's got to write another book. Okay, she got her contract is
Mhm.
for like a series, so we have to get another book.
Yeah.
Yes. So Bree, what will you give this great movie? Out of 5?
I think I give it a 3.75.
What would you give it, Natasha?
I guess I give it a 6.5, so it's a 3.25 for me. Yeah.
I just love the fact that you and I are going to be fresh on Rotten Tomatoes on.
Currently, it's the biggest divide. Like I think the audience score is like 49, and then the critic score is like 77, and I'm just like, why is that? But I always feel like these, like they have their own scores. You know what I mean? Like I would never compare like The Power of the Dog to this movie. Right? I wouldn't be like, oh god, it's the same tier. You know, like they're completely different tiers. I feel. Yeah.
Well, and there is something to say about knowing what you are and going for it, and that's what they did. They did, and it was funny. It was ridiculous. So yeah. And they don't always work for me. Like I didn't love the night one where Vanessa Hudgens goes back.
The night before.
Oh
Christmas.
gosh,
yeah.
No.
Like I thought I was gonna love it.
I was hearing it was terrible, so I have never even attempted to watch it.
Okay, what can I say? I love trash. Like
I just thought it was kind of boring. Like it wasn't trashy enough. Like she was taking it. I thought they took it actually a little seriously, and so, whereas this one did not at all. Didn't take it seriously at all. Anyway, all right. I think if we covered all of the ones that you all have seen, or the rest,
that's
fine. Okay, so I'll just run through these pretty quick then. All right, then we have Christmas Is You, and this was on Peacock, and it starred Becca Tobin and Matthew McCall, and it's Emma is given an ultimatum by her boss at Old Town Records to go home for the holidays and convince former boyfriend and national recording star Tyler Thorne to sign with Old Town or find another job. When Emma isn't an organized assistant, her real dream is to be a singer. After quitting his label, Tyler headed home for Christmas for the first time in years. When Emma and Tyler arrive in their hometown, they're immediately immersed in an all hands on deck effort to save the annual Christmas Carol celebration, where they first sang together as kids in the choir. Turns out a trip down memory lane may hit all the right notes for love.
Everybody is saving a pageant or something.
Yeah, we're gonna be saving all these events and whatever.
The fair. I mean, what is it? The parade in the Jenny Baird novel. Like somebody's always saving something. Sorry.
Now,
go ahead.
No, you're fine. This movie was fine. Like I liked Becca Tobin and Matthew McCall. I've wanted Matthew McCall to get a lead for a long time. Like he only had the Haley Dean. He was the love interest in Haley Dean. But in one of these rom-coms, he's always the best friend or the other guy or whatever. And I think he's really handsome and very charming. And so I was excited to see him get the lead, and I thought he did a good job. I thought him and Becca Tobin had good chemistry, and they're both good singers. I mean, Becca Tobin was on Glee, so she's a good singer. So all of that part worked. The plot, nothing. I mean, it's so bland. But I thought it was fine. I would give this one 3 out of 5. So, okay. Then we have A Christmas Witness. This is was on the 20th on Ion Channel. Eric Hebel and Colin Egglesfield, a no-nonsense federal marshal, is tasked with protecting a low-level, charming mobster until he testifies against his mafia boss 2 days after Christmas. This one, both of the Ion releases so far this year have really been trying to be kind of edgy and have like more adult content and whatever. And so that, and I can respect that. You got to find something different that you can do, you know, with everyone else doing. And this one, I mean, the fact that they got Ariel Kebbel and Colin Egglesfield, who, I mean, are pretty big gets, I think, for this level of budget for this movie. So that elevated it. And it did have some pretty funny parts. It had some really cringy parts too. Like whenever they would try to whenever movies try to make Christmas sexy, it just doesn't work very well.
It's a little weird. It's a little
when
weird.
Like, I'll put you on the naughty list. You know, like it just doesn't work.
Well, you need to stay away from Kindle Unlimited's like Christmas rom-coms because
woo! That's just that's the basic.
I'll give you a lump of coal. You know, like whenever they're trying to like work an innuendo to like
I think you're selling it, Rachel. Like
it's too silly.
I actually want to watch it.
And it was particular the mafia boss's wife is like super into Colin Egglesfield and is always trying to get to tempt him away, and he's like, no, I'm not doing that, and I don't do marrieds. What? But it did have some pretty funny parts, and I mean, this is a very low budget, and I would say all of the supporting players are pretty weak as far as their acting, but it was different. I appreciated that, and I had fun, you know, watching it. Again, you're not gonna hear me say this isn't necessarily a good movie, but yeah, it was kind of fun. And I mean, the whole idea of a low-level charming mobster is kind of funny to me. Oh, you've only killed a few people. Oh, okay. You're only a low-level criminal. That's fine.
But how was Colin in this one? Oh my god, he's so
good. Yeah,
good
he's
looking.
Good. Yeah, he's very handsome. Yeah, they're very good together. They have good chemistry, and there's some fun like moments when they're watching Christmas movies together, and they're like kind of holed up in this motel room trying to hide out, and yet they're like he's always going out and like helping people with their Christmas decorations. Then he goes on this date, and he's almost hit on the head by a snow globe.
What is this movie?
It's called A Christmas Witness.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, and like I said, not family friendly. It's got some language and some sexuality and things like that. So anyway, I would give this one 3 crowns. All right, keep going. Then we have Say Yes to Christmas. This was on Lifetime, and it's Erica Provost and Romaine Waite, and it's a magical Christmas wish makes a career-obsessed June say yes to every invitation while she's home for the holidays. But when an old flame, Blake, joins her hectic schedule of Christmas activities, past feelings are reignited. June must choose between saying yes to her career and life in the city or to her heart in her hometown. So this one, I was kind of skeptical about it going into it. I can't remember what I gave it in the preview, but I actually ended up enjoying it. Some of the acting is not the best, but I really liked the lead girl. She was cute, and it had some diversity as far as the casting. And I just like the whole concept of like she can't resist saying yes. Like she gets this curse on her basically, where anytime someone says, "Will you agree to help out with the the Christmas can drive?" Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And she doesn't actually have to go through with it, but she has to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And it was clever and cute concept. I enjoyed it. I'd give this one 3.5 crowns.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Then we had A Boy Called Christmas. This is on Netflix. It's Maggie Smith, Jim Broadbent, and Toby Jones, Sally Hawkins, Kristen Wiig, Michael Heisman, and it's based on the novel by Matt Haig. This heartwarming holiday tale follows Nicholas, a boy who travels to the north to find his father, who is searching for the Elfhelm, the rumored village of the elves. Along the way, Nicholas enlists the help of his loyal sidekicks. This was really fun. I really enjoyed it. If you're looking for more of a fantasy kind of story, there's like goblins and and other creatures, and it's a fun adventure. It's very well made, very well acted. Like Sally Hawkins, I hardly recognized that it was her, and I'm used to her being so happy and bubbly. And so for her to be this like evil elf was like
Different.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was, I think the whole family will love it. It was a really enjoyable film.
Yeah.
So I give this one I'm going to give it a 4.25.
Wow. Yeah, I wanted to watch this. It was between this and A Castle for Christmas. And I chose A Castle for Christmas. Oh. Yeah.
You have to live with that choice there.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of wearing clean. I don't know.
All right, last one is Chestnut Family Christmas. This is on OWN channel on the 30th, and it's Megan Holder and Brad James. It's when a talented pastry chef currently working as a live-in cook accidentally commits to hosting her family for the holidays. She poses as the wealthy homeowner in order to impress them and remove the black sheep burden she has been carrying her whole life. All seems to be going well until everyone's secrets are exposed and relationships begin to unravel. And I think I gave this a sock in the preview, so I wasn't that excited about it because like family dysfunctional family movies aren't my favorite. But I actually ended up really enjoying this. They actually have what they don't say is they actually have a whole fake relationship plot that she gets like her BFF to pretend to be her fiance. So there's that going on, but she's like lying so much. She's lying about the fact that she's working as a cook. She's lying about the fact that she's not working as a lawyer. She's lying about the fact this house is hers. She's lying about, about being engaged. So there's a lot of lies, but I don't know. I thought that was kind of fun. At a certain point, it just kind of won me over, and I liked the two leads. And there's also some representation. I mean, the whole cast is African-American, but also her one brother is gay and wants to play for the NBA, but there's only one other gay NBA player, and so he's like debating about how he can handle that. And so that I thought was
that's
good.
Nice.
And I thought it felt like a family, and Nathan Whitty's in this one as well, and he's charming. I always like him.
I love him
as one of her brothers. And I actually like this one. It was fun. I give it a 4 out of 5.
Wow.
So there we go. We did it.
We did it.
So very good. Well, if you're listening, let us know what you think of these movies. Which ones do you get to see? And if there's ones we didn't talk about, I'm going to try like The Loud House Christmas. There were a couple other ones that I didn't get to. I'll try to get to those next week. And so let us know if you got to see any of those, what your thoughts were. Say it in the comment section. We would really appreciate it. And Natasha, welcome to Hallmarkies podcast. We're so excited to have you. And we're definitely going to have you back. So
we've got her.
Why don't you tell people how they can find your reviews on social media?
Okay, so I'm on Twitter. You can find me at litmysoul. That's just how you spell it, just how you say it. LITMYSOUL. You can also find my reviews on culturedvouchers.com. So I write film reviews for the site. We also have tons of amazing content on like books, wrestling, games, and TV. Yep.
Great. Awesome. And Bree, how can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at Falling for Romance, and I co-host the Categorically Romance podcast, and that is it.
That's a lot.
No, I sound like Peacock. I sound like Peacock now in my summaries.
No, you're great. You're great. You're like doing like legit reviews and stuff. So
yeah. You can find me at Rachel's Reviews all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. And then also make sure that you are following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave us your ratings and reviews. That really helps us so much, help people to find the podcast, give us your 5-star reviews and we will sure be grateful. And then also, if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have the merch store, which has tons of fun festive designs and everything for the Hardy, Postable, and Hallmark fan in your life. Please take a look, and movie fan. We would appreciate it. And then we also have the Patreon group, which is so much fun, and you get to be part of watch-alongs and other fun events. So please take a look. And thanks so much, everybody. Thank you to both of you, and Merry Christmas.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.